What is up, guys? Welcome to another Amazon FBA happy hour. Today, we're going to talk all about Q4, the Wholesale, some Twitter stuff, Q4 gold, all that kind of stuff. So let us know what questions you have. What's been going on?
Yes, the beef on Twitter. People are throwing shade at people.
Which ones?
Like the RBOBs thing. That was funny. But Guru's basically ruining Nike. Which I mean
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, it's not like, it is what it is, I guess. What's going on? Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Nike ungates and stuff like that, like, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Nike, I mean, I'm thrilled that I don't, like, sell Nike anymore, and it's like, I don't know the last time I bought anything Nike. Um, and yeah, just, like, looking at some listings and stuff, it's pretty bad, so I don't really know what people are buying. I would almost probably think most of it's, like, RA for sure. Like, I don't know how you're buying some of this stuff online unless you're, like, stacking, like, crazy coupons or have promo codes. I don't know. I've been, like, away from apparel for pretty much the year. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mean, he called the gurus assholes, which, I mean,
I
there's
forgot that part.
that. I could see this thing getting, like, probably 20,000 views, by the time it's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
I guess, like, for everything, they're just like, someone's gonna spill the beans.
because they're making money off of it. Like at the end of
Yeah,
the day, they've like I told you, they get the last laugh because they've made tons of money off this stuff. So at the end of the day, who really is ahead?
facts.
They are. But no, I saw that Jared, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was like he had a meme, a GIF actually, it was a GIF, and it was like trying to figure out how people were buying Nike socks that are profitable.
That's hilarious.
And that
Yeah, I
was
saw a bunch of people on Instagram being like, "Oh, we're late night sourcing," and they had all these, like, Kohl's tabs open. I'm guessing they thought, like, it was gonna be a lot bigger of a discount.
yeah.
We texted this morning, and and I was like, "Do you see the Kohl's, like, prices? Like, compared to last year, it was like, they're terrible."
Yeah, it's a lot
Like,
different.
absolutely terrible. Even if you, like, apply the Kohl's cash, which, like, Chris Potter's like, "You shouldn't do that," and took 30% off, like, it doesn't even make sense. Again, like, I browsed it, and I bought pretty much a ton of Nike last year, so, like,
Mhm.
I had all the links from last year, so I was just, like, clicking on them and looking at the price I paid, and, like, the prices are starting at, like, $60 for, like, hoodies. And it's like last year I was getting them with like discounted gift cards and like Kohl's cash for like 30. Like
Mhm.
you're not getting anywhere close to that. And like it doesn't really look like the pricing is there. Even if you got like the bump from last year, or even if you merchant fulfilled them, like I don't know.
I have a feeling I know how they're getting them cheap,
Oh yeah, how?
and it's not legal either.
Then, yeah, we're not gonna share that.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm
talking
talking
about that, I got actually someone was DMing me. I asked them if they wanted to, like, do a YouTube, like, interview, and they said no. But they were basically like, "Oh, we could get you shipping labels,
I was talking
for,
about
like, $6 flat." Like, it's this random DM, and I was just like, "I'm gonna let this, like, play out," because like, my idea was to basically get them on a Zoom and then record the conversation and then, like, post it on YouTube, be like, "Don't fall for this." I can see why people fall for it because 'cause they're like, "Oh, they send you all these labels." They're like, "Oh, check to see if it's legit," and all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we're so busy. Like, you gotta, like, lock in now." I'm just like, "Bro, what are you
Wait a
talking?"
second, was this somebody that you knew that was doing this or somebody you didn't know?
No, someone totally ran. It's in my general.
I was
Yeah,
like,
and
"Dang."
the username was JAWAD period underscore period 7. And yeah, it's like this whole like conversation. It's like it's hilarious.
Okay. I thought you meant somebody that you knew that you were gonna interview was doing this. I was like, wait a second, what?
No, I wanted to try to get him and like expose him. He's like it starts, hey John, are you tired of shipping costs eating into your profits? First of all, like if he even knew me, like he knows I don't really merch fulfill. I'm not like a huge fan of that, but like there's that. I've got your solution. I could help you generate UPS and USPS shipping labels at a flat $6 rate. I don't even think like that's absolutely insane. 1 to 70 pound weight, no size or zone surprises, just $6 every time, all over the US. There's no upfront or hidden charges. Feel free to ask questions or schedule a call. And I was like, that sounds amazing. How does it work? When USPS flag the package based on weight? He's like, it's a great deal. And I can see how people fall for this. Our service ensures that USPS doesn't flag packages, blah, 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 blah. If you're interested, we could set up a call. And then I was like, is it legal? I don't want to get into any business trouble. He's like, it's 100% legal and trouble free. I encourage you to verify the labels generated by us for your peace of mind. And then like I tried to like get them on Zoom, and they're like, "Oh, can you do like WhatsApp?" I'm like, "No, I don't have WhatsApp."
You should ask him.
I have WhatsApp, but I wanted to get him on Zoom to like record it. And then they like send all these like shipping labels, and they're like, "Yeah," and it's like he's like, "You could verify them." Like, how would I like? What am I verifying? Like, what am I supposed to type in? All like 16 of these like freaking numbers? Like, are you serious right now? And then like we kept like going. He's like he appreciated the interview opportunity, but like he wants to work together first. So maybe in the future. What's going on, Tyler?
Yeah, the
What's up,
future.
Milton? If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. But yeah, I mean, between that, like I don't know. I'm just not seeing the apparel. And again, like I don't really want to get back into it anyway. So I'm actually kind of happy that the deals kind of suck. And I think that's like a really big part about like Q4. A lot of people are always just like, I think it gets like real hypey, like, oh, all these like great deals. And like, yeah, they're like great deals and stuff like that. But you also have to just be like, you don't want to spend like all your money. Like, I for Walt, like when all the big like that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean that's like, and I feel like too, it's like if the deal's not there, like don't do it. I feel like oh, everyone's like oh, the cash back is so ridiculous today. Oh, like the Kohl's cash, and it's like someone told me it's like oh, the Kohl's cash only happens like twice a year. I'm like yeah, like that's great. Like the $15, you get $15 for every 50. And I'm like yeah, but like I'm not gonna buy stuff just to get like Kohl's cash and break even on it, especially apparel, and get it like returned. Like,
Yeah.
forget it. Like, it's not worth it for me. And then, like you were saying, a bunch of people are complaining that they're like, canceling orders. Just seems like a huge time suck for me. Like, I'd rather just buy nothing and then take advantage in other ways. I did buy someone sent me something today, so I like bought that, but wasn't something like on the radar. But I also think too, you gotta just be like smart. Like there are like groups that are like, hey, like the wholesale is tomorrow, and they're telling like thousands of people, and like you're basically competing against that. And whenever you see people like hype something up like this, like it's all over Twitter. Oh, like the wholesale, you're gonna see people posting, oh, their big credit card bills and oh, like, oh, this is the time, guy. Like, don't pay attention to any of that. I mean, you could do what you want, but I just tend to ignore that. I like take that as I'm not shopping at Kohl's today, uh, for those reasons. And I did like I did test this out, like kind of when like the bigger like big box stores like Walmart, Target, all those guys like did their Prime days or whatever to compete with Amazon. Like some of the stuff I bought is absolutely obliterated. Like went from like 4 sellers to like 300.
Oh dang.
Like absolutely insane. So like now I'm just like, yeah, when these like big sales are like coming and like, and it was like one of those like, oh man, like it's gonna be based on the Keepa, like it's impossible to like lose on this. Well, like I'm definitely in the hole. I didn't buy it deep, so like I'm not worried about it. And who knows, it might come back around, but like, yeah, like I know everyone's like, oh, the deals are amazing and all this other stuff, but like I don't know. I feel like, yeah, when everyone's talking about it or like bragging about how much cold cash they have, like you're probably all bought the same shit. And yeah, it's not going to be good for you. I mean, hopefully it is.
I agree.
I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion. I don't know. What questions you guys have? Drop them in the chat. Um, how's you bought a bunch of pallets recently, right?
Mhm.
Are they doing well, or how's Q4 for you so far?
They haven't got to the warehouse yet, so that should be there Monday, hopefully. And then
Nice.
it'll be shipped out. But yeah,
Well, that's good.
slow start, but I'm also
Yeah, definitely.
petrified at the same time.
Tires with Coles was 2021 and 2022 for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel that.
I look back like this time last year, I think I spent it was either this week or like the next week, like almost like $10,000 or $15,000 all on Nike stuff. But like, oh man, it was like amazing. Like you were getting like sweatpants for like $20.
Mhm.
Like after all discounts and hoodies, I think they ran like this black. It probably was the actual Black Friday. You get hoodies like these Nike hoodies for like $25 after if you factor in Kohl's cash and like some gift cards. Like you're not gonna get down from 60, I don't think, to a viable price at like 30-40% ROI. It's gonna be hard. But yeah, I've never actually seen them split it out either. So like all the hoodies that had like almost the sale price of last year, they're like yellow, like neon, and then all like the good colors, like the black, the white, like those were like
Yeah.
60. And they had the sticker price at 65.99. And they're like, oh, the big sale is they're $5 off. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, okay, that's like not even 10%. Like, what the
That's
hell?
so much. Everybody should get run and buy those right now. $5.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just not seeing it. I mean, I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's a good time to buy and hold. But it's funny because like last year, I thought I was being smart and buying like, oh, like I'm gonna buy like some of the extra tall, like there's like ones where it's like less than 1%. I'm like, oh, no one's gonna buy these. And like the advice back then is like, oh, if the listing is low ranked, like everything on that sells. Yeah, like I still have them. Like I sent them to the company we were talking about last week to like
Oh,
liquidate, and I think I just sold the last one on eBay for like $30, and I think I paid like $30 for it. So yeah, so I'm not doing that again, and yeah, I'm just excited. Like I think that's the other thing too. Like I don't know, like I just have like a plan that I have now, and I'm just gonna like just try to stay away from Kohl's unless it's like low key stuff, like
yeah.
stuff that's like meaning like it's not on the front page, it's not like super advertised heavily or like the stuff in the email, all that kind of stuff, and just kind of I don't know, doing what I'm doing, but like more of it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just so many ways to do quarter four that people just I think like New Year's sellers, they just kinda get all these ideas in their head and then they just kinda bounce back and forth. Just do what works for you. Just because you see people saying Kohl's is this, Kohl's is that, and if you don't normally shop at Kohl's, then don't worry about it. You're probably not missing out on anything because you're not gonna know what you're looking for anyway. Just kinda just
Agreed.
focus on what you're good at. If that's like Target, then rock Target, but I think it's easy to, like, get googly eyes and be like, "Ooh,
Yeah, like I was just like
oh."
browsing Kohl's, and I guess it's like easy to say because like I've shopped it the last 2 years to be like, yeah, there's I don't really want to explore that this much today, or like kind of do anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think yeah, just because everyone hypes it up doesn't mean there's like stuff there
Mhm.
like for like or make sense for you. And then like if everyone's hyping it up, like it's probably not good either. Like there's like stuff like I saw today, like someone posted like, "Oh, I'm gonna be buying." This is a great thing too. Like I'm not gonna like because it'd be super obvious, but it's like I'm gonna be buying so many of these pens in Q4. It's like no, you're not. Like you just posted it to your timeline. Like you're not buying any of that. And, like nor should anyone else. Like they're like, "Oh, these pens in Q4, they're gonna pop off." It's like doubtful now that you put this on Twitter. Like, very doubtful.
I know of one of those. I don't know if you're talking about
Yeah.
one I am, but
Yeah, so, I mean, stuff like that, like, I think
oh,
there's just stuff like that, like, you just kinda, like it's, like, I guess, helpful, but, like, not really, like, maybe you should look at other pens, maybe, um, or similar things to a pen, or, like, I don't know, it's a bad example, but, yeah, just stuff like that, and it's just I don't know. It'll be what it'll be, but I don't know. Just trying to like steer clear of stuff like that. How's real estate queen doing with her portfolio?
working on my second house. I'm keeping this one.
Oh, you're keeping it.
Yeah, I'm keeping it. I grew attached to it. So it's
So what does that mean? Like, are you gonna rent it or
yeah,
you're gonna move into it?
yeah, I'm gonna rent it. I'm gonna do a cash out refinance like I did my first house, and then pull out the money that I invested in it.
Oh, okay, I got it. That's the one you said was too nice to rent? Is that one?
No, that one I'm still
Oh,
selling. Yeah. No, I'm
oh, okay, got it, got it.
it's the my Barney house, I call it. It had a purple bathroom.
Oh god.
And there was, like, blue carpet. It was so ugly. But it actually has a really good, history to it that I didn't know until I actually bought it. So, whenever it came up on the market, it was on the market for maybe 12 hours, and I texted my realtor, I said, "I wanna see this now." So we went and saw it. I was the only person who saw it, and I put my offer in right after I got done seeing the house because I knew I wanted it. And mind you, it was on the market for no more than 24 hours at this point in time, and I gave them a full price offer, so I was expecting them to, like, obviously take advantage of that, and it took them, like, a week to respond to me, and, like, my realtor's like, "I think they since it's an estate sale, I think somebody has some kinda issue with selling it." Come to find out that there were 3 kids, 2 of them wanted to sell it and one of them didn't, and obviously majority ruled in that situation and they ended up selling it, but the last one obviously didn't wanna let it go and she didn't wanna sign the paperwork, so it took over I think it was like a week and a half before I finally got the paperwork back stating that they took my offer. And so fast forward to whenever I actually got the house and we were demoing it, there was a lady who was walking by the house and was like, "Hey, are you the owner?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I actually used to live in that house." So she gave me the backstory about it, and it was actually originally a duplex. So she lived at the top of it, and then the lady that owned it before I bought it lived at the bottom of it. And I come to find out from her that the lady I bought it off of that passed away, her father actually built the house. So it has been in their family since I think it was built in like 1910 or 1920. So he built
Wow.
it, and he also built another one right there's a lot right next to mine that's empty now because they had to tear it down. But they were brother and sister houses. They looked identical except for the staircases were on opposite sides. But yeah, so her father built the house, passed it down to her, and then obviously one of the children wanted it too. So it's got like a lot of history to it. It's been in the family ever since it was built. So then fast forward later, like 2 weeks ago, I got a call from my contractor and he's like, there was a lady that came to your house and she said that her aunt used to live there and she wanted to come in and take pictures. And he's like, well, I don't think you probably should because mind you, it was gutted. Like it's completely torn. It doesn't even look like the same house. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea because it's completely gutted." And like she went up to the door because it has a glass piece in it and looked inside and saw it completely demoed, and she started bawling. She's like, "Oh my god, this was my aunt's house," and like, so yeah, there's a lot of history behind all this behind this house, but it's actually kind of cool though, to learn the history of a house because like my first house, it wasn't like anything cool like that, but then I get this house, and yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a sentimental thing in their family. So I'm like, I better do it justice. It's an old
Yeah.
Victorian house too, so I was gonna side over it, but now we're gonna paint it and keep all the original woodwork and stuff on the outside. So it's gonna be nice. But yes, that's how my
What's up, Miguel? How is your Q4 going? My Q4 is off to a good start. Had a solid October to like 74K, which I was really happy with. So yeah, off to a good start. I feel like this month's off to a little bit of a slower start, but I have a ton of stuff in FC transfer right now. Yeah, right now it's like a really hard. It's a hard time to wrap your head around because now it's like I'm really been like buying stuff that I want to for sure be ready to sell in December. So like to wrap your head around like, hey, sales might be a little slower right now because like I'm kind of playing for December at this point. Um, definitely like screw your head a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm like. That's the game I'm playing now, and just trying to be patient and not like a good example would be like the wholesale. Like I'm not gonna spend money on like 20% ROI stuff. Like I know better stuff's gonna come down the road. And it's just
Mhm.
like kind of being more patient, like in terms like that, and not buying like bad buys because like I have spent a decent amount of money already so far in November, which I'm happy about. I'm like really chasing like a couple things heavy right now. Which is also could be scary as too because like I'm a big fan of being like wide and not deep, but I don't know. Sometimes there's just those opportunities that you can't pass up. Um, so I don't know. Fingers crossed on that. But yeah, it's really just kind of spending on like solid stuff that I've been like replenning all year. If it needs to be replenished, and then really waiting for like $25 hoodies, I guess. Well, I'm not gonna do apparel, I don't think. Um, I never say never, but my thought is, yeah, probably not. Because then my fear is that I'm going to do it and then like want to keep doing it because it's so easy to hit spend goal and like get lost in the sales and not necessarily the margins and like stuff that gets lost or stuff that's like I did a lot of like Kohl's is notorious for sending the wrong stuff, like wrong sizes, wrong colors,
The
wrong
wrong
everything. And I got inauthentic from Nike for I think it was sweatpants, and they're on sweatpants that Kohl's. So like they're like, we need invoices for 300 pairs of these sweatpants or whatever it was. Well, I only had 280 because Cole sent 200 of another size. I'm like, whatever,
Mhm.
like I'll just list it on the other size. So then I didn't have an invoice like for all of them. Or my bad, vice versa. I sent something in that they sent the wrong size of, so I didn't have an invoice for that. So I was like short 20 because they sent like something else, and I was like, screw it, I'll just list it so I don't have to return it. And then yeah, it turned out to really come back and bite me. And I just kept resubmitting, and then eventually, well, the problem was I had to send in like one. It took like forever to like track down all the Kohl's receipts and like put them in documents, and the file was too big. And then I think they finally are just like screw it, like we're just gonna like push this through. So just kept like submitting, and then eventually they just like dropped it. But yeah, so that kind of really opened my eyes to like all the stuff I ordered from Kohl's last year. I would say probably like 20% of it was like wrong or the same size. Like it became like I was just like if I ordered 200 things, I was like as long as 200 items showed up, like I didn't care. Like it wasn't like oh I'm looking for 20 larges, like 20 mediums. It's like whatever they sent. If I could find like the ASIN and it was profitable, I just listed it on that. And that's like a bad idea because like it could come back to bite you.
I didn't think about that. But yeah, Kohl's
Yeah, I
is
was actually at a conference and they are like, yeah, if you ever get the wrong size or the wrong anything and you're like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna list it, and then you don't have invoices, like you're screwed. I'm like, never thought about that.
yeah, last year
No,
I
it was smart for finding the new ASIN, but no.
yeah, that's actually crazy. I didn't even think about that. But no, whenever I flew out to Oregon whenever we opened a prep center last year, I sent out a bunch of stuff from Kohl's so that I could teach them how to prep. And when I got out there and got the boxes of stuff, I was like, I opened a box up and there was a Carhartt beanie in it. I did not order a Carhartt beanie or anything
Oh
similar
my
to a beanie.
god.
I'm like, where did this come from? Like,
Yeah, it could be like or you got to be careful like if apparel like they kept a lot of those like I
security
don't know.
tags.
Yeah, security tags. And
That
then,
happened.
like, going back to, get that off. I guess you could buy, like, a magnet. It's just a pain. And
Yeah.
then there's another one where, like, I bought men's stuff. They sent me, like, women's stuff. And then the problem with Kohl's is, like, you have to return in person. Like, it's
Mhm.
not like if something gets screwed up with Walmart, I could, like,
Take
they'll
it back.
let me, like, print a FedEx label
Yeah.
and like I could schedule an appointment for them to like pick it up. But going to Kohl's number one always sucks to like wait in that return line. And then so I went and I was like, oh, they sent the wrong thing. I was like, oh, I was supposed to get these sweatpants. They sent me these ladies sweatpants. And they were, I don't know, like if the lady was just like crazy or they're just like, oh yeah, like we can't I just thought I'd go in, give them the sweatpants, and they're like, okay, like here's the men's sweatpants.
I
And
love
they're
this.
like, no, like
No.
you give us the women's sweatpants, and then you call like corporate, and they'll send you men's sweatpants. And I'm just like, I was so like I was probably online for I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit about this $30. Like I'm not wasting an hour trying to explain this. Like, and to get a hold of someone at Kohl's is a process as well. Any of these companies now to get like customer service on the phone and then like kind of explain like what happened. Um it's just a nightmare. So like sometimes you just got to know when to like take the loss and just be like if you're notoriously getting the wrong stuff like stop ordering from there.
Yeah, it's not an easy, straightforward process taking things back. Like if you get an item that like isn't the same item and you try to take it back, it like blows their mind. They're like, you don't have a receipt for this. And I was like, well, I don't have a receipt for it because it's the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you're ordering too in volume,
Mhm.
it becomes extremely complicated like well, and I'm not a prep center so I don't do it by order, right? So like if I ordered like 100 pairs of sweatpants like of large, as long as I get 100 large sweatpants, I'm not right now like, oh, it's from this order, it's from that order. Like, I'm not doing that, like, because it's just not worth my time. So, like, to figure out like kind of which one that was from is always like difficult as well. So yeah, and then they once lost like some really expensive Lego sets, like, and there was 10 of them,
Oh
and I
my.
was like, I can't eat this. It was like $1,000. I was like, and it's like showing delivered, and I was like, it's not like, and I had the warehouse, and I'm just like, I'm like friends with the UPS driver, like he knows not to leave anything outside, like there's no way it came here. And so then like I was like, do you have pictures? And they sent pictures. I was like, that's like a house. Like
It's not even
I
the
have
same.
a warehouse. Like that is the wrong address.
It's not even
And they
the
were
same.
like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, 100% positive. And like they refund. I think because it was like $1,000, they were just like, dang. And so like they ended up like refunding it.
They asked you, "Are you
Or they
sure?"
sent me more actually because I wanted them. Because like they were no longer the price, and I was gonna make like I think it was like $30 or $40 a set. So I was like, nah, I really want these. Um so yeah, but like that was worth like the hour and a half like arguing with them. It was $1,000. So I was like, all right. But yeah, they're definitely not fun to deal with. I
My
also
favorite.
had like Nike stuff. Like I actually ordered from like Nike and they sent the stuff to Chicago. Somehow
I'm
my
excited for
email address or something, or maybe it was my phone number. I get a text message from some lady and she's like, "Oh, I have like 20 Nike shirts and they're yours." I'm like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "Oh, like they're in my like I don't know. She lived in like some apartment building. They're like, "Oh, it's in my like apartment building and it had I think it had my name on it." I don't know what happened because the Nike like shipping label was like I don't know what the hell happened, but literally she's like Nike ended up just sending new ones out, and then she's like, "How do I send these back to you?" I'm just like, "You can just keep them."
You
Because
just keep.
like Nike didn't charge me for them, and then I was just like it just was like one of those people where I mean it was very nice of them to reach out, but like it was going to be a process for like to try to get them back. It just didn't make any sense. So yeah, that could be the hardest part.
I have a story about that. So we had a client who came to me and to my business partner and was like yelling at us because we had lost a bunch of Nike inventory. We had lost, I should say, lost
Not
it.
yeah. It's always somewhere. It's never like it's either a UPS guy has it or like another family has it. It's somewhere.
Well, when I
We
was
don't
out
know though where.
there, well, this is prior to him asking me about this, but when I went out to Oregon just a few months ago, when I was out there, we had gotten a call from so the way that our warehouse is, there's like our warehouse and then like right down like a block, I guess. There's another warehouse. And like we are very similar addresses because we were on the same street. It's just two separate warehouses. And then in the middle is like a parking lot. Well, we got a call that there's another prep center in the other warehouse got all of our Nike stuff. And I'm talking about like 30 boxes of stuff.
Oh dang.
So fast forward to now, we reached out by a client that we had lost his Nike stuff. Come to find out, they were sending it to the other location. And it
Oh
was
my
getting
god. What the
and
other location do? Did they give it back to you?
yeah, they just called us and said, "Hey, we have," because they knew who their clients are and stuff, and the way that we do our suite numbers is different than theirs, because each
Okay.
client has a suite number. And so whenever it doesn't match theirs, they know it's ours. So he just called us up and said, "Hey, like they're my business partner and him are good friends." So like they just talk about it in case, anything arrives at our end that needs to go to him. They just have each other's phone numbers. And yeah, he just called me. Me and Ricky went over with two big carts and we lugged it across the parking lot,
That's
which is
great.
gravel too. But we got him.
Hilarious.
Everybody is quick to assume that your prep center is the one losing these things. But as John just mentioned, literally his stuff ended up in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's
You
not his
just
prep
never know.
center. That's not his prep center's fault. That is the retailer's fault. Or
Yeah, nowadays too, like they mostly all have pictures from what
yeah,
I've gotten or have come to the conclusion of. So I always ask, like they all have like these phones like now, like this,
mhm.
and they just like snap pictures. So like you should definitely ask if like something's lost.
Ours was actually our UPS driver, but he got fired because he was doing a bunch of bad things, and this is probably what happened with ours as well. But he was dropping stuff off at random places that wasn't even the right address, which I have a good feeling that's what happened to some of our packages. But then he was also saying that my business partner Ricky was signing off on the packages, and then he has not signed off on any packages since we started, pretty much.
That's
He's
crazy.
like, that is against the law. Like, you cannot
He
say
really
that.
took a shot in the dark there. Jeez.
So yeah, now our current one, he's actually making Ricky sign for it, and like he's checking to make sure we get everything and stuff. But yeah, he's like, yeah, that guy got fired. He's like, he was doing all kinds of things that wasn't good.
That's crazy.
So
Jeez.
don't always blame your prep center. They're probably not stealing unless they're really shady, but that's a
You
possibility.
plan going to Miami Sellers Conference? Yes, I'm planning on
I'm supposed to be going.
it. Oh, you may not.
I had to have surgery on my ankle.
Oh, you're always supposed to have surgery though. You just like push it off.
Yeah, I know, but it was supposed to be recently. It was actually supposed to be like months ago, but then I got the houses and I was like, I can't because like the
You could
surgery
do it after Miami.
but the surgery that I'm having is a 3 to 4 month.
Uh,
So it takes up a good amount of time because it's not I don't have an internal fixator, like, like a plate. It's gonna be outside of my leg. So it's
oh,
a cage. So it's like I can't do anything for 3 to 4 months. So like I was like, I have to get it done now, but it's probably gonna overlap with Miami. So I may be coming with my robo leg if I do come.
like,
Because just scheduling.
it happened to me at Macy's sale, friends and family, and a lot of things got shorted from the store and invested a lot of time into the Nike apparel and received 60% of the order. I wasted my time. Yeah, it's always hard to like because you're literally throwing money in the garbage. I mean, everyone likes to tout that like they are so like on top of stuff and like they always get like I highly doubt that. Like when people like they never lose anything or like never take like I don't believe that to be true. Maybe it is. But I'd also think Macy's like I very rarely order from Macy's. Someone sent me something, it looked good. And I was like, oh, let me try. I haven't ordered from them in a while. And I did. And they shorted two. And I assume like the prep center, like, I was like, oh, God, like they definitely lost it. But it turns out I like went back in to see if it was delivered. Like Macy's like canceled two of them. So if I bought 10, I don't even remember what the number was. They're like they shipped out 8, but never told me they were only shipping out 8 instead of 10. So I just assumed it was lost, but it turns out it wasn't.
That happens a lot more frequently than you think too. Like with clothes.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff too. Like so when you're tracking orders or when I track orders, I always like to put down when I order the order number. This way I could search it in email. Because a lot of the times, like, especially if you're buying in volume, you need that order number. It just makes it easier. So a lot of times you'll type in the order number and I'll click the link like track. This happens on a lot of the what the hell the site is. It's like the Shop Pay site. I don't know.
Um,
And it's like, oh, and you pull it up and it looks like it's tracking. It's like this order's been canceled. But like the retailer like never tells you. Like you have to double check to like make sure it comes off your credit card because like I know American Express, every time I get a refund, they send me an email or text me. So if you're not getting those emails or texts, like they're probably charged you for that. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that stuff. And yeah, it's just when you're buying lots of volume, like there's just lots of stuff that comes into play, like making sure like you're getting charged the right amount or like discounts are being like taken off. Like especially now when you're doing like promo codes and stuff, like before you check out, like make sure like that promo code's like applied or like the deal is the deal because you don't want to like check out and then like your card is like not what it's supposed to be. Now you have to like break even on that stuff. That's not like a situation you want to be in. Just kind of have that like in your head. Like if it doesn't look right, like take a step back and like just kind of do the math again. So yeah, that's kind of that. But yeah, you gotta like play that role. Like Walmart recently lost. I don't know. Walmart's pretty good. If like they don't ship you something, you could usually just do their bot, be like, "Hey, I never received this." And they'll
Mhm.
be like, "Hey, did you check?" Yeah, I checked with the neighbors. Like, all right, like we're just gonna give you a refund. They like recently did that for something for me. I have to do it, but like the cost of the item, it's like it's not really worth it. It was like a bundled item, and the two they shorted me, but like I will reach out when I have a chance. But yeah, it becomes like hard, but then like that stuff adds up over time. So like I'm not telling you shouldn't reach out, but like investigating an order for hours during Q4, probably not the best use of your time. I would definitely probably like try to like look into the policy and see. Like, for example, like, I think Walmart now is like you can return stuff up to January 31st. I don't know what the policy is though, like, for you to, like, submit that you haven't received something. Like, I don't know if you have to January 31st to report you haven't seen it. Um, but yeah, you gotta keep that in mind. I bought Magnus to take off security tags. That's a great investment because I'm sure they're not that much money.
Mhm.
Vivian, good sales today. That's awesome. Michaela, how's private label going?
I sold out of my item, and I don't plan to restock it, but I am working on a brand exclusive deal though, so with
Ooh.
somebody, and I'm going to sell their PL product. So hopefully it ends up a little better than mine.
So how does that work? They just don't want to do it anymore?
No, they
Or you can't talk about it yet?
no, they don't sell on Amazon anymore.
Oh, so they stopped and they're like, we have this like
Yeah,
PL product.
his account got suspended.
Ooh.
So, not because the private label product,
Oh, did
because
they
of the
not have a separate account for PL?
no, no, he's
Ooh.
like, "I know, I'm an idiot." It's like that's exactly what I asked him. I said, "Why didn't you put it on a separate account?" He's like,
It's
"I didn't."
funny because like a separate, all right, like just argument for argument's sake, like I'd be like, oh, it's gonna be such a pain in the ass to like do it, but
Yeah,
like
I've done the
it
process. It is
probably take you a, it wouldn't take you a day. It'd take you like a couple hours, and like
yeah,
get a new bank account, blah blah. But
that's the part
like
I think
it'd be
when they
worth it, like especially in this case.
yeah, but then the problem I have with that, people are like, "Well, if I just get suspended or before I get suspended, if I just get 2 accounts, I'm safe, right?" Not necessarily, because I know people who have gotten suspended who has two accounts. The problem is they track your IP address.
Yeah,
Um, so if you want to make a stealth account, which is what it's called, then you need to make sure everything is separate, like address, the name, like have your friend do it, have your significant other, your mom, your dad, Grandpa Joe. I don't care who it is, somebody that's not you, have it under their name because that way that it's fully separated. So that's what I had to do was create a fully separate not
I
that I had.
asked Amazon. This was a long time ago, like because I wanted a separate account just for like
Mhm,
media stuff. Because everyone's like, oh, there's so much counterfeit media. Like if you get caught or if they say it is, it's going to be hard to prove because I buy everything. I was buying everything used, first of all.
mhm,
So I was like, I'll get a second account. I literally went on Amazon, bought like the cheapest computer possible. I think it was like 120, it was like $180. It's like this crappy like Acer, I think. I still have it. I actually use it to like scan the books because like you just need to like one software, so it doesn't need a lot of power. Um, and I went to a Barnes and Noble and like literally used their Wi-Fi, like new computer, like because back then everyone's like, if you open a second account, like do it on a different device. I don't know, like the whole IP thing. Like I think every computer has its own.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what the hell it is.
it's
Like I have
complicated.
like three computers here. Like I'm guessing they all use the same IP address, but there's like something slightly different.
Mhm,
That like whatever reads. So that's how I like did it. And then I never logged on. It's a pain in the ass because the online
mhm.
arbitrage account is now the media account. So like I use a Mac and that's a PC. So there's like some stuff that like I don't have user permissions for. But I have to use that Mac to like change like that other computer to change it. But when I get a new computer, I'm gonna get a new Mac. I'll probably buy one at the end of this year to kind of for good old tax
I was gonna
purposes.
say tax deduction.
Uh, probably do that and then log in on that one because then it'll be like totally new, and then I won't have to worry about it. But yeah,
Just make sure they're that's the most important thing that people have told me is just to make sure everything's separate. So like if you had your old account on your phone to check your orange bars, you do not use your phone again for it. Like do not check it for whatever reason. Do not check it. Just check whenever you're on your computer because they track those IPs. So like whenever you're on your phone and you log in, then it's going to show that same IP address that it was on your first account, and then they're going to link them. It may take them a while. It may not be immediate, but like 3 months down the road, I think we had clients who got into this issue. Like it was like a husband and wife, and one of their accounts got shut down, and then the other one also got shut down because they were sharing IPs. So
yeah, that's what they always say too. Like if you're ever, you never want to like log on to like another Amazon seller's like Wi-Fi,
mm-mm.
like because that would be like really
I don't
bad.
use public Wi-Fi. That's when you were saying the Barnes and Noble thing. I was like, I don't use public Wi-Fi
I
whatsoever. Like
actually, I
never.
actually do. I use it at Panera. Actually, never had any issues, but yeah, I
It's
might have used my hotspot. I don't remember now. Well, no, I didn't want to use my hotspot. I specifically used Barnes and Noble because, like, my hotspot's obviously on my phone. That's
yeah.
connected to the other account. Like, it sounds so ridiculous, like talking about it, but like, yeah, that's why like everyone always like, oh, should I open another account? I was like, no, like, just don't.
It's a
Like, you're better off if you get suspended to like hire a service to like try to help you, or like I don't know, get a really good friend, have them like open everything, and then basically like run. I don't know, figure out how to do that or whatever. Um, yeah, that's always my advice. Like you're gonna get in more trouble, and it's not necessary. Like it's just not necessary to have two accounts. Like
mm-mm.
it's just not. Let us know if you guys have any more questions about Q4 or anything really. Hi John, when you use Palette IQ, did you have a hot list for building book sets? Looking to find one or even buy one if someone had a definitive one. I did not use the hot list feature. I don't even know if it was really developed out when I was using it. But I just had so a couple of things I had like someone who a bookstore who bought history books. So I had a history book, so anything that was a history book, I had that set, and then I had a kids book one. Anything with a kids book, I just put those in a separate Gaylord set a buyer for that. I think there's a video on my YouTube channel. It's like book sets that sell for over $50 on eBay, maybe. Put that to YouTube, and I think there's like 15 or 20 sets. Stuff I'm a little rusty, but like stuff off the top of my head, like the Babysitters Club, Goosebumps, Magic School Bus. Um, there's some like Treehouse one. Um, the Harry Potter books. I don't know if those are still. Those used to be really profitable. Towards the end, they weren't. Like 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know if that's popular anymore. The Twilight books. Um, really any like old vintage kids books. Boxcar Children. Jeez. Yeah, a lot of those stuff. Anything like Alfred Hitchcock is good. Um, but yeah, I guess you'd have to like set those manually, but those are kind of the ones I was like doing. There's like another one I can't like think of it though. But yeah, just think about that. And then yeah, kind of build your hot list based on that. But it's like they are harder to do, like to build the book sets because it's rare that you get like, a set. you just have to collect for a long time. So we just basically throw everything in a Gaylord that we were collecting, like set wise, and then once that Gaylord was full, we would kind of just go through all of it. Or when we did it originally, we just put all that stuff aside, and then we had an upstairs with bookshelves, and we just put like all the Magic Schoolhouse, all the Babysitters Club, and then like once we had a set, like it was really easy to see like what we had, and then we'd like build from there. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, those are some of the ones off the top of my head. But kids' books are crazy. Like my niece, like she loves to read, and the books are like $10, $12, like for like a little paperback or like a hardback. And I'm just like, dang, like this is crazy. So I could see why people like buy those sets on eBay or try to get them for free. Facebook Marketplace is good for that stuff too. I don't know. What is your goal for Q4?
I don't really know. I want to sell my house, obviously. That's my number one. Sell my
Maybe you could
house.
list it on Amazon.
I can list it on Amazon. Yes, I will.
Get an ASIN going.
Please
Get
sell
a
my
generic listing for your house.
and then I don't know what my goal is, honestly. Because it kind of depends on how much I'm feeling like I want to spend with everything going on right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of this year, this Christmas, I think I'm probably going to do some FBM. I don't want to do a whole bunch of FBM like I did last year because I got really burnt out with that. But the thing is just maximizing my profits so I don't have to spend as much. And it
Yeah,
still
that's kind of what I'm shooting for as well.
so finding the good deals and not like being okay, like this is 20%, like just hold off. Like you said, there's probably going to be a better deal. So what about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like last year, I think November I spent about like $70,000 or 66,000, I think. And then in December I only spent 15. So I don't know. Like I don't know if I want to spend 100. Like, but like it's kind of well, these are the Amazon houses.
I'm gonna
We'll have
look this
to put that
up.
on the screen for Michaela so she could screenshot it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like go back and forth. I think I'm
Oh my
definitely going to be, yeah, definitely
20,000.
spend at least what I spent last year, maybe more. Um,
That's so funny.
we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, yeah, it happens once a year. One mistake I did make last year is not spending like a lot in December. I reversed that and spend I probably would like go back and spend nothing in January. Like just spend all the money in November,
Mhm.
December. And then because January and February got like really dry and really hard to source. Um, so yeah, I'd rather just kind of like do all that. And I think this Q4, I'm like going to be I thought it was like I wouldn't say reckless last year, but like I want to be buying from like the places everyone tells you not to buy from,
Mhm.
like Walmart, like stuff that like if shit went wrong, like Amazon be like, yes, we accept that receipt,
Mhm.
like stuff like that. So I'm not gonna be like messing around with like weird listings or like duplicate Lego listings, like all that kind of weird stuff. Like I'm not gonna be doing any of that. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to like more for like grocery stuff, like bundles,
Mm.
like with all this generic listing stuff going around. Like, I don't know. I feel like not all bundles, but like there's definitely been some stuff I've been on that are like not the brand or like you don't even notice. It looks like good, but like there was something I was going through my catalog the other day and it was like, I forgot what the brand even was, but like I was like, huh. I wonder if that is the brand and like the product's just a different name. and it was just some like random website. And like I don't know if like Amazon's like, oh, like yeah, like it has a website or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, deleting this listing. I deleted so many listings yesterday, not because they were generic or like anything wrong. It was just like anything that in my head that like if they give like IP complaints or like maybe it was a bundle and like at the time I wasn't aware. So like stuff last year, like when I started, like I just deleted all of it because that would be like a terrible thing to like get like IP complaints or anything with stuff that's like out of stock or haven't sold for a year and like have that like jeopardize like Q4. Because it's just not worth it. And I had a bunch of like CDs and DVDs. Like it actually became like much easier to delete them. Like it used to be like you could only delete like 20 at a time, or Amazon be like, we can't do it. But I was able to delete like 250 at a time. Like so that was good. So yeah, like definitely delete stuff that like you're not gonna sell again. Like there was definitely some beauty brands like were like one-off sites or I was like, yeah, like I'm getting rid of this stuff. Or like if I got a letter from someone, I'm just like, I'm gonna delete all this stuff. Pretty sure Inventory Lab stores all that historical data anyway. So like there's really no need for it to be on Amazon or like have it in your Seller Central, but definitely be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. Or like think like almost yeah, any listing that's like 5 days old or like 30 days old, like just be careful because they might be generic listings or like the brand might not match up, the manufacturer or any of that stuff. And like while it could be tempting, like you don't want to risk all your ASINs for one. Um,
Nope.
like, just doesn't make any sense, especially now. There's gonna be a ton of profitable stuff out there. Um, and yeah, I don't know.
Just
That's
gotta be
kind of
smart.
yeah, like I would ideally like to do like between 150, 200K in well, I guess if you do all Q4. I did 120 last year in just December. So I'd at least like to do 150, 200 this year. We'll see though. I mean, I feel like sales have been off to a little bit of a slow start, but I think they'll pick up like probably next week or so.
Should.
Um, you would think. I mean,
We'll
we'll
see.
see, but I mean, yeah, it's a weird thing too because it's like, oh, if the sales pick up, like I guess it depends. Like I'm looking for sales on like very specific sites that I've like shopped at all year that aren't like so on the radar, I guess. Um, so hopefully once those start, it'll be easy. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to buy a bunch of bad shit to like post some nice orange bars come January 1st.
Mm-mm.
Tell you that much.
Facts. Facts. It's not always about orange bars. It's about what you make off of those orange
Yeah,
bars.
that's like one of the things I learned. Like I made more on the 74K that I did this month than like I did on some bigger months last year. And I was like, damn, like this definitely is the better way to do it for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Because you're
Well,
risking less capital and making more. You're risking more capital to make like 10, 20%. It's not, let's just say, as good. I mean,
mm-mm.
it's your business. You can do what you want with it. But in my mind, I'm like, wow, like this stuff takes a lot longer to find and it's a lot harder to find. But like once you find it, if you just keep like just like chipping away one at a time, it definitely becomes worth it to me. Anyway,
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see though. Oh, you guys have any more questions? What time is it? Oh, it's 4 now. All right. If you guys don't have any more questions, have a good weekend and peace out. Peace. I didn't realize I had like the pen on my hand.